Hi, if you're here and you're watching this video, that means that you're looking for some AP Computer Science A Prep. If you don't already know me, my name is Aditya Anandan. I'm a senior at Irvington High School in Fremont, California. Last year, I took the AP CSA exam digitally and I got a 5. So I think I have a pretty good understanding of what it takes to get a 5 on the exam and how you should prepare and what content you need to prepare. If you're on my YouTube channel, make sure to go check out my Thinkific course. We have practice quizzes, we have worksheets, we have practice tests, and we have these conceptual overview videos that you're going to be watching. We also have some breakdowns on MCQs and FRQs that are going to be really helpful for how to think through problems and how exactly to solve them. So without further ado, let's get to the lesson. Alright, so let's get started with Unit 1. So Unit 1 just deals with some basic programming concepts like variables and, arithmetic stuff. And it's just to get you introduced to programming in Java in general and the syntax and stuff like that. So it should be pretty simple. Chances are most of this is not going to be on the exam, so I'm probably going to speed through it anyways. All right. So the first thing we need to talk about is Java itself. So what exactly is Java? So Java is a programming language. So Java is a language, and you might be asking, what exactly is a language? So a programming language is essentially just a specific form of interacting with a computer. So there are several programming languages out there. There is Python, there is C++, there is C, there is Ruby. Even Blueprints in Unreal Engine is a type of programming language. But Java is a specific language that College Board thought would be best to teach APCSA, and here we are, we're doing Java. Pretty simple, that's pretty much all you need to know about Java itself. All you need to know is that it's a programming language. You're going to be working with it. You should probably download BlueJ. Just as a side note, for you to be able to run Java code. That might be another tutorial that I put up, how to download and use BlueJ for APCSA students. But that's also a important thing because you'll be able to run and test code on BlueJ. Anyway, so the first concept we want to talk about is actually variables. So what exactly is a variable? So a variable, as of right now, I just want you to think of it as a data type. Now, a data type, it essentially means any form of data. So that could mean a number, that could mean a decimal, that could mean a word, that could mean a letter. It doesn't matter. As of right now, I just want you to think of it as some form of data. Now, that's not entirely true, and I don't want to confuse you, but just keep an open mind, okay? It's as of right now, it's a form of data, but we might, as we get into classes, as we get into other stuff, it might change. All right, but just all right, bear with me here. All right, there are three forms of variables that you want to know for APCSA. The first one is an integer. Now, an integer is a whole number that is from negative infinity to positive infinity. You've probably heard this in math class. In Java, it's like negative 2 to the power of 51 or positive 2 to the power of 51. I don't know the exact number, but it's something like that. It can be any whole number. It can be 1, 2, 3. It can be negative numbers. It can be negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. As long as it doesn't have a decimal, it's an integer. Alright? That's cool. Next one, we've got doubles. Or doubles, sorry. Double is a decimal value, so it can be 3.14, pi can be negative 3.14, it can be 2.74, it can be 1.38, it can be negative 2.222, it can be whatever you want as long as it's a decimal, alright? So, now that we've got two of them done, we've got a boolean. Boolean sounds like a Pokemon. I don't know why. The name is pretty weird. I don't know. Alright, a boolean is a true or false value, so it's either true, it's either false. There's only two states it can be in. Alright, so that's pretty much it. It's very useful later on in programming because you can use it to check whether your code is running properly or whether a variable satisfies a certain condition. But as of right now, all you need to know is that a boolean is true or false. All right. Now let's go over some syntax stuff, like how you write these things actually in Java. So how do you define an integer? So an integer is defined like this: int num equals 5. Now let's break this down step by step. What does each word mean? All right. Sorry about that. So what does int mean? I guess you can probably infer that int means that this is an integer. All right. Now, what does the next word mean? What does num mean? There's no num anywhere here, but it's actually the name of the variable. We could have made this anything we want. It could be fair, it could be val, it could be, honestly, it could be anything you want. It could be like pink fluffy unicorns for all I know. I don't know. But as long as it's a suitable name for the variable, which suitable means like it actually like, because in coding you want to keep things actually neat, right? But it could be whatever you want for now, all right? But that's the name of the variable. And finally, we've got the actual value of the variable, which is 5. And then finally, I don't know if you noticed this, but we've got this little thing over here. What is that? That's a semicolon. In Java, after every line, we want to keep a semicolon, and otherwise it won't run. That's very important. Make sure to remember that. Don't mess that up. All right, cool. Next one, doubles. Oh, wrong pen. Double num equals to 3.14. Same thing, we've got a double, okay? We've got a double that is the type. Now we've got the num, which is the name, and then we've got the actual value, which is 3.14, and then we've got the semicolon. Finally, we have got booleans. Same thing. This is the value. This is the actual type. Then finally, we've got the name, which in this case, oh shoot, my surface be walling, I don't know. All right, yeah, so integers, doubles, booleans, 3 of them, you should have gotten it down, right? If not, rewatch this video 1,000 times before you get it. I'm kidding, it's pretty simple. You should have gotten it by now. Guys are all smart. All right, next thing, how do we convert from integers to doubles and back? So exactly why would we want to do this? I'm not sure. I mean, usually we don't do this, but I guess it's pretty important sometimes. I don't know. For now, just know how to do it. It might come up in the exam, right? So let's say you have an integer called num and you set it equal to 5, right? Now let's say you have another double and you want to convert this num variable, this num, into a double. So we'll call this a different variable because we don't want to get into some tricky stuff here. Let's call it val, right? Double val, right? And we will just say it equals to, I don't know, how would we convert this number integer into a double? So we can just say, we will just say double val equals to num. So now it's directly referring to num, which is 5, but we've had this double thing here that converts num into a double. So if num was 5 before, what will val be? Val will actually be 5.0 because you're adding the 0.0 because a double is a decimal and an integer is a whole number. Alright, so this is pretty simple. You're just converting from an integer to a double through just kind of common sense, I guess, because like this is a double and because this is already an integer, you just add the 0.0 because that makes it a decimal. I don't know. It's pretty common sense. Now, when you're doing it the other way, double to an integer, it gets a little bit trickier. So let's say you have a double called 6, or I'll make it 6. I'll just say double val equals, or we'll switch it up. Sorry, equals to 5.2. And we will have integer num, integer val, sorry, equals to num. Will this work? No, it will not, because, well, specifically, when you're going to double to int, you need to add a very specific line, and that is this operator called an explicit cast. This operator is super important, alright? If you don't have this int, it will not convert from a double to an int. And that's because Java just simply doesn't recognize it. Let me just label this as an explicit cast. Alright, that integer makes it, that int sign makes it an explicit cast. And essentially what you're doing is you're converting this 5.2, which is the num value before, and you're making it 5. Not 5.0, you're not rounding, you're just simply just taking out the decimal. So this decimal is getting sliced. It's getting sliced. Alright? Cool. Last thing we want to talk about is just simple math. You've probably heard of PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. If not, well, you should probably go review it. It's pretty simple. There is one new operator here called modulo that we'll have to take into account. Modulo is simply just remainder. So if you do 5 modulo 4, first do 5 divided by 4. What's the remainder? You get 1 because it's 1 and 1 by 4, so that the remainder is 1. Modulo is pretty simple. The modulo goes in between division and multiplication, so it's in the same precedence as that. You've also got a couple of like special signs in Java. You should probably know these. You've got plus plus, which increases something by 1. So if you get like 5 plus plus, you'll equal to 6. You have minus minus, which I think you can understand. It goes down by 1. We'll get 4. And then you get two things. So if you have two integers, so you have int a equals to 5, int b equals to 3, and you will say a plus equals to 1, you will say a equals to a plus 1. So then a will just be 6. And then a minus equals to 1 will be just 4. And then it will be a times equals to 1, which will be x, will be a times 1. So it's pretty simple. The same thing applies. Just expand it. You should be able to get it. Alright, that's pretty much all that I had for the unit 1. I mean, it's pretty simple. You should be able to understand many of the key programming concepts. They're rooted deeply in math, and yeah, the chances are you won't see any big problems about this in the AP exam. But it is good to have a foundational understanding of programming before you go in and start doing some hard stuff, like recursion classes and all of that. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a great day. Make sure to shoot me an email if you have any questions. Write in the comments if you think I can do something better, or you want a topic that you want me to cover a topic or something like that. Anyways, I guess I'll end it here. Thanks to all of you for watching, and peace out.